For you, let's say for where you're planning on going from here, and I guess also your kind of faith in the industry, because you were kind of interested in having books or movies or TV shows about
Yep.
in your worlds, right? Uh, how would you go about trying to make that happen? And do you, with a lot of things that are bad that come out now, like how much faith do you have that someone would actually do a good job if you gave it to them? And so how would you even maintain that kind of control?
Well,
Or any? I don't know.
one, I don't know how much. I mean, like Rick Riordan has says he's never watched any of the original Percy Jackson movies because they didn't want his involvement. He knew they were going to be bad, and he didn't want bad versions of the characters coloring his own interpretation of them. But he also says that without those movies, he wouldn't have been the success that he is. So even a bad adaptation moves the needle tremendously. A bad adaptation is probably better for the author than no adaptation. But I'm fortunate right now. I'm actually working with a production company called Tiny Giants, who are interested in several of my properties. And in fact, there's one that we're developing that's based on an unpublished manuscript. And I'm phenomenally busy right now, and I'm afraid that if we get film interest in that, I'm going to have to finish that manuscript, and I don't have time right now. But they're interested in Thrones and Bones, and they're interested in this unpublished manuscript, and they're interested in some other ideas. So hopefully something will happen with that, although it's way early days.
How did you get involved with that? Did they find, is it no situation where they found you, or did you go to the
That
company?
was a mutual writer I worked with who worked with them, recommended me to them. And they're run by a guy named Stu Gamble, and we hit it off, and we've become friends, and have been looking to collaborate for a while.
So are you positive about the state of sci-fi and fantasy, or are you not so much?
The state in which way? I think we're in a golden age of television. It's never been better. There's so many fantastic offerings on television right now. I can't stand it. I can't keep up. Um, in terms of brick and mortar book publishing, like I said, things have contracted. I've gone from someone who said never self-published to I think if I had a novel right now, I'm 100% in gaming right now, and I'm also I'm working for someone else right now developing a fantasy world, and it's taking 99.9% of my time. But if I did have a novel, I would take a long, hard look at whether I wanted to traditionally publish it or independently publish it. And I might independently publish it.
That is, it's very interesting because I remember when I first talked to you years ago that you were still in the anti
Yep.
self-publishing mode of thoughts. It's very interesting that you've come both ways on that.
Well,
Here's
part
an
of it is
interesting.
I have learned how to pick the lock, so I feel like I have
Well,
in the dues.
right. You
And
figured out how to
now,
do it. Right.
yeah, and the other part is that publishing has contracted so much that unless I was confident that the publisher really could offer me, I mean, if they're just going to get me like 2 weeks in Barnes and Noble and then ditch the book, I'd rather just do it myself and have full control and write it exactly like I wanted it and produce it my way.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and all of that jazz. It really helps a lot. But also, please check out The Cultists, the web series on this channel about modern-day D&D playing Lovecraftian cultists who just want to worship Cthulhu in a world full of people who just don't understand. Season 1 is on the channel now. But also, please check out my YouTube channel. I have over 150 videos on tabletop games and the fantasy genre. If you've enjoyed this video, you might enjoy many of them as well. I look forward to seeing you for them and many more videos to come.